It is the award-winning InWheelTime car talk show. Richard Tomlin.
Who?
Remember that name?
I think
From
so.
Apex Auto Works?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's been found, and we catch up with him about the Pikes Peak Hill Climb in the 69 Roadrunner. Are you nuts? In Jeff's car culture, things we didn't know about the launch of the Model T Ford. And Mr. Mars has swap meets. You go into one in the top 5 in the United States?
Depending on where the top 5 are.
Well,
we're going to
we're gonna look at the top 5 in Texas. That way, you don't have to go too far, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin, Chief Engineer David Ainsley, and I'm Don Armstrong. Thank you very much for joining us. It's turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous Saturday for our live show here.
Don't rub it in.
No, but I mean, look at the sun.
It is. It's nice.
I cut the grass on Thursday just before it
You are rubbing
nice
it
rain.
in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because you're going to do that today.
Well, I cleaned the gutters this week, and I washed the house this week.
You?
I did.
I got some clothes that need to be washed. If you got more time,
just bring them over. I'll take them down to the creek and beat them.
Rock. Who is joining us? Did I hear somebody knocking on the door right here? Would that happen to be Richard Tomlin with Apex Auto Works? Oh, my God, it is. Richard, we thought that you had gone into another world.
You look taller. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Richard?
Richard, have you muted your microphone,
Again.
Richard? Because we can't hear a damn thing.
Okay. Let me work with Richard here.
All right, you work with that. At any rate, so you did all of that? You did not do all of that.
I did do all that. I did. I saw you land at Sugarland Wednesday.
Did you tell me?
Yeah, well, I heard, and I got on the app, and I'll be darned.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and I mooned you. Did all that.
Yeah, I didn't see that, thank goodness, but yes. Yeah.
No, but I saw you. I heard you. I didn't actually see the bird coming in, but I heard you.
Yeah, well, we did. We landed out there for a brief while and got back up again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Figure fueling. Get the fuel.
Yep. And get all that nice jet exhaust all over me, which, I walk into some place and you go, but it smells like jet exhaust. Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like, nitromethane exhaust.
I had beans for lunch.
Had beans for lunch, exactly. Oh, my God. Well, I didn't do any headlines.
Oh, you know what? I got something.
No. I've got to get some headlines in because I've got so many and I want everybody to know.
Okay.
GM again has idled production at an electric vehicle plant in Detroit due to waning demand. Less than 3 months after a mass layoff and reduction to a single shift, 1,300 workers remaining at Factory Zero, where were temporarily laid off March 16th. They're expected to return April 13th. According to the UAW, the plant was previously idled October 27th through November 24th before being cut to a single shift in January. Sorry. Blame Mary Barra.
Oh, boy.
GM plans to introduce to the U.S. market a Buick sedan
Yeah, buddy.
built on the same platform underpinning as the next generation Cadillac CT5 and the Chevy Camaro. Now, how do you do that? Is the Chevy Camaro going to grow to the size of a sedan DeVille?
Those designers are doing a lot of drinking.
The car will be the first in North America for Buick, once known for luxurious sedans and coupes, since it discontinued the Regal in 2020.
Yeah.
Buick's North American lineup now consists of the Enclave, the Encore GX, the Envision, and the Invista crossovers.
The Envision is becoming more high-end as the years go by. This year's model of the Envision, which I have, is a little bit more optioned.
Yeah, so you beat them all to the punch.
Well, you
optioned it up.
No, they can. I have an option mine. Mine just came standard, and I love it.
Well, I know, but it's not the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, shall we try it, Richard?
We got
again?
Richard.
Richard, do we have you now?
Richard?
Mars?
Well,
I'm going to turn you down. So I'm just going to continue on with the news of the day until you guys
I'm
get
not
that
sure why we
figured out.
can't hear
Wave
Richard.
at us and let us know when you've got them. Production of the next generation CT5 and Camaro expected to begin in Lansing in the fall of next year. GM expects to produce 60 to 70,000 CT5 and Camaro vehicles annually at the plant, according to the source.
So it's going to be built in Michigan.
Yep, Lansing.
Yep.
You ever been to Lansing?
Oh, yeah. Capital.
Where is Lansing,
Lansing
from
is
Detroit? In the middle of the state?
a couple hours away, maybe. Yeah.
North?
Yeah, northwest. Yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah. Big college town.
In the past, platforms were largely defined by body styles and engine layouts. Today, digital functions and software are at the core of everything we do. That, according to the BMW folks. The comments highlight the scale of transformation underway at BMW as legacy automakers race to keep pace with Tesla and a new wave of Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers that have prioritized software and rapid development cycles. BMW rolling out its New Class program, the automaker's next generation vehicle architecture, and on March 18th unveiled the i3, a new class-based version of its Core 3 series. The i3, which starts production in August at BMW's Munich factory, is the second model on the new class platform after the iX3 SUV. Here they come. But I guess that the point to make there is the fact that all of the cars now are computer-assisted.
Yep.
Remember, back in the day, it was the clay models.
Yeah.
And the clay models, gosh, I miss those days when the Houston Auto Show is going to have 5 brand new concept vehicles. And they'd roll them out and they'd be all painted up. Of course, there was no inside to
Right.
them.
There's nothing. It was just shell. Yeah.
You're right, just a shell. But they had them way up on a big platform, going in a big turntable, and some hot looking chick describing the car. Gone are those days.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a shame.
Yep.
Oh well.
That's how they design before computers.
And here, this falls under the bad dealership.
Again. All right.
A former high-level executive at
Of course.
3 New Jersey luxury dealerships who embezzled more than $1.6 million over 7 years was sentenced to 18 months in prison in order to pay $494,082 in back taxes. Juyong Lee pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Catherine Hayden to filing a false income tax return for 2021. That's how they got him? Well, wait a minute. They got mobsters that way too, didn't they?
I don't know, but that's
Tax evasion?
$228,571 a year.
He wasn't living too bad off the hog, was he?
That's just scratch.
Juyong Lee pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Hayden to filing a false income tax return 2021. From approximately 2015 through 2021, Lee embezzled over 1.6 from various high-end dealerships in New Jersey where he worked. When he filed his tax returns, Lee failed to report or pay tax of the funds as income. Dummy. Lee was general manager of Maserati of Central New Jersey, Bentley, Edison, and Ferrari of Central New Jersey, all in Edison. The stores are part of the Mercado Automotive Group of Miami, which ranks number 65 on the list of top 150 dealerships in the U.S. Well, they won't be in the top.
You couldn't
anymore.
take that amount from like a Volkswagen dealer
or a McDonald's restaurant.
Right. It's all Mercedes or
Maserati, all the big buy stuff. USMCA, you've heard that? That's U.S., Mexico, Canada.
Right.
It's an agreement that has been in place for a long time. Well, U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Greer said Tuesday that he does not expect negotiations on the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement on trade to be resolved by July 1st. They were hoping to get it done by July 1st. July is the required deadline for USMCA to notify Canada and Mexico about its plans for the trilateral trade pact known as USMCA. USMCA review sets up a 3-way choice for each country. They can renew the deal for another 16 years, withdraw from it, or signal both non-renewal and non-withdrawal, which triggers an annual review that could keep negotiations going for up to a decade. Oh, God.
Didn't George Bush, the younger, put that in place? I think he negotiated that.
Got a meeting.
Yeah.
Let's go to a meeting. Let's go to another meeting. Okay, what time's that meeting? 3?
Well,
wait a minute. And then after the 3, we got one at 7:00 in the morning before everybody gets here. Oh, wait, we're not done. The lunch, we're going to cater it, and we got another meeting.
Let's have a meeting about lunch.
Let's have a meeting about a meeting. Kidding.
I was in a company that did that.
Have we lost
actually kinda
Mars? Where's Mars?
He's working with Richard, trying to get Richard.
Well, I think that he needs to go down there to Apex Auto Works.
There you go.
Either
Mike,
that or
yeah.
just give up on the whole thing. I can continue on with headlines if you'd like.
Well, you go right ahead if you got them.
All right. Are
If you
you
got
able?
'em,
Are
read
you
'em.
able to do the launch of the Model T Ford from here with the video and everything?
Maybe. Let me see.
All right, because
You can go. You do that, and I'll work on this.
All right, you work on that.
I'll work on
Over
this.
40 years in the U.S., Hyundai has worked its way into a position of strength in mass market passenger cars and family haulers. Now, Hyundai is entering the last big uncharted territory in its quest to join the ranks of North America's full-line automakers. With its first body-on-frame platforms in the U.S., the fast-growing company is muscling in on the highly profitable pickups and SUVs that are the lifeblood of the Detroit 3. The first vehicle on the new platform, a midsize pickup truck scheduled to arrive in 2029. Hyundai hinted at its vision for full-fledged trucks with the Boulder concept, a sleek, powertrain-agnostic utility, it says, can tackle the toughest terrain. In Boulder, the Boulder, though only a concept, is aimed squarely at the growing off-road segment owned by Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler. Hyundai already has a pickup in the U.S., the compact unibody Santa Cruz, but it musters only a fraction of the Ford Mustang's Mavericks sales, I should say. Sources have told Automotive News that Hyundai soon will give up on the Santa Cruz. So they're going to do a whole new thing, and they're going to get serious about it. I saw a Santa Cruz just yesterday, and I'm going, man, that thing is small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not?
Smaller than a Santa Fe.
I'm sure that I'm sure that they've done the research, but I don't understand why they don't build a El Camino or a Ranchero size vehicle that was built on a car frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why don't they do that? I guess they've done the research.
It's not in line for the next idea. They've got other ideas that they want to take care of.
Well, they need to stop that. What do they think they
They're
are?
moving forward.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Mr. Mars, are you with us?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought I read something about some rumors that Chevrolet was going to resurrect the El Camino.
They're going to re-erect the name. Re-erect. Whatever. I've screwed all that up all morning long.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess Richard Tomlin is a no, huh?
Yeah, we're not sure what's going on down there. We got video, but no audio, so we're going to work offline this week and see if we can figure out what's going
wait
on.
Just a minute. Isn't he in Alvin?
Yes.
Alvin! I could only imagine the Alvin telephone company.
We could bring him up as an in-studio guest up here.
You could.
Yeah.
It'd take him an hour to get here.
Yeah.
Well, but still, he's talked to us before from the parking lot, showing us some of the projects and stuff. He's talked to us from Pikes Peak. So I don't know what's going on, but we're going to work on it this
Alvin,
week.
Mike, you ought to know all about it. You live in Neaterville.
Could be Theodore did it.
Yeah,
Theodore.
Theodore. Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Alvin.
Alvin, Theodore, and Oscar? No.
No.
The three chipmunk boys. Oh, boy. If you know, contact Mike at Mars at InWheelTime.
Alvin, Theodore.
Let's see here. What were the names of the three famous
Are you
singing
Googling it?
chipmunks?
George is listening. George knows. George will know.
Well, George is
Alvin,
listening, but
Simon.
Simon!
Theodore.
of course.
Gee, Davy.
Squirrel.
That was Simon.
God.
Speaking of our listeners, Jeff Heitzman, congratulations on his Artemis. You know, Jeff was part of that program. I think he's in Artemis 3. He's working on Artemis 3 project. So
Yeah, he's working on some future parts of it, the next step or two.
Yep. So good for Jeffrey.
Well,
Yeah.
Very exciting.
My Katie is out in Vandenberg. She's
Yep.
been out there all week. She's working on a SpaceX project
Yep.
that is going to launch 6 of her satellites on one rocket ship.
Oh boy.
That's
The InWheelTime space cases.
right. Well, that's going to be our next title.
Yeah. We should do remote from the moon, Mike.
Actually, we are. Based on all of our trials and tribulations with this Zoom thing that Mars has saddled us with, that's been over a year, and every week it's something.
Come on.
Well, no, it's not his fault.
No, it's not.
But it is.
We bumped
Mars, listen, I know Becky. and it's always your fault.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to bust the cycle there. So I'm just going to keep up the.
Yeah,
the good
I
work.
would be
bust his butt.
I would be disappointed to learn that I did something right. Every once in a while, she'll say something. I say, "Can you write that on the wall?" Nope.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna write it on the wall.
Put it on a
That's
calendar.
right. Yeah, that wall was painted 15 years ago, and there's still nothing on it.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to take a quick break,
There you
okay? Because we deserve it, by golly.
I would like to say one thing though.
Sure.
So we're kind of like the Artemis toilet that they had problems with. You know, we're going into areas unknown as far as live streaming goes that most people don't do. They record it and then they fix it so they don't have anything. We're
They have
real.
Money. That's the problem. They have money, and they just throw money at it. Either that or they go to a podcasting studio. They go to a podcasting studio, pay a fortune for it, kind of like we did in the old radio days. Yeah. Remember that? And we go there, and somebody else would make all the money from us, and,
Exactly.
and we would broadcast it to 0 people.
I think what he's trying to say is we got a lot of crap floating around here.
We do.
Yeah.
Just saying that we are leading technology in this field. And it's kind of like that toilet. Sometimes you got to stop and fix
They
it.
have fixed it.
They had more computing power on Alan Shepard's first rocket
Well,
ship.
yeah, they said the calculators nowadays have more power than what they went up with. You know, all the computers that they had.
I was trying to be
your
funny.
watches. Oh, sorry.
And they still haven't got
Maybe
the toilet
serious.
fixed.
No, the toilet still is a problem.
Well, you just go to the backyard.
Exactly.
Go on the back side of the moon. You should have took care of that when you were on the back side of the moon.
Just ahead in Jeff's car culture, the launch of the Model T Ford in Mars
Speaking
has
of
top
launch.
5 swap meets in the U.S. of A. in his driving destinations. After this break on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. Apple or Android, InWheelTime podcast can be found everywhere, on the stream and through downloads. Whether you're on the road or at home and jonesing for a different kind of car talk show, give InWheelTime a try. Honest new car reviews, fun, informative interviews with real car people, weekly automotive news, features like Jeff's Car Culture and Mike's Driving Destinations, all on InWheelTime. Check us out on SiriusXM Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or while you're shopping on Amazon, through Amazon Music. InWheelTime.com has a list, and we know you love lists. Beat over the head with lists.
I got a list.
All right. InWheelTime invites you to join us 10 to noon Central Time every Saturday if we're there for our live show about all things automotive. We hope you'll join us. Shut up. Thanks for being with us today. I wrote that on there. I'm sorry that you're with us today. How's that? Did I cover all the bases?
He wrote "shut up" on it. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Time now for Jeff's Car Culture.
Oh,
Launch
yeah.
of the Model T Ford. Your
It's
turn.
about time. So the things that you really didn't know and the kind of speculation, but the Model T revolutionized transportation and manufacturing in America when it debuted in 1908. While many know it was the first affordable automobile that put America on wheels, Henry Ford's vision created the new car for the common person. So here we go. Talk about price. Well, initially the car sold for $825 in 1908, equivalent to about 25 grand today. The affordable compared to other automobiles of the area, which typically cost about $2 grand. Ford managed the price point by focusing on simplicity and efficiency. And then you talk about the color. Well, despite the popular saying that customers would have had any color as long as it's black, the earliest Model Ts weren't actually black. The first production models came in gray, green, red, and blue.
Really?
Black became standard in 1914 because black paint dried faster,
That's why?
and it sped up production.
Wow.
Who knew?
Who knew? So you talk about the people doing that. Well, workers were paid $5 a day in 1914, which was just generous. It was revolutionary. The wage doubled, and the industry standard to follow allowed workers to afford the very cars they were building, and that's what Ford wanted. He wanted understanding that the customers create what was important to them. Talk about the budget. Ford's budget was not anything uncommon, but modern vehicles launched with massive marketing campaigns. Ford spent almost nothing on advertising for the Model T. The car essentially sold itself through word of mouth and newspaper coverage. Ford relied on the product's quality and affordability to generate the buzz. The assembly line? Well, contrary to popular belief, the Model T didn't launch with the famous moving assembly line. The innovation came 5 years after the release in 1913.
I was going to say about 1914 when everybody got a raise.
Yep. Before that, cars were built in a stationary position with workers moving between them, taking about 12 hours per vehicle.
Wow. I
The
didn't know
capacity?
that.
Well, Ford's factory could produce 11 cars per day by 1914, and implementing the moving assembly line, the number skyrocketed to about 93 a car every 93 minutes, which was very good back then. Efficiency allowed Ford to continue dropping prices throughout production. The first global car, well, it's what they called it. It was designed as the world's first global car. Ford built factories across 6 continents, and the Model T was manufactured in 20 countries. That's pretty crazy back then in 1913, 1914. Talk about the procedures. Well, the Model T wasn't as simple as turning the key. Drivers had to set multiple levels to adjust the throttle, physically cranking the engine by hand. The crank would kick back dangerously and sometimes breaking a wrist or a finger if the unprepared person was operating it. The innovations that they had, well, the unique material solutions, it's a magneto, part of the ignition, was built in the flywheel using materials that had been used in automobiles before. The innovation eliminated the need for batteries in the early models through significant engineering achievements. Transformation of it was the Ford specifically designed the Model T with high ground clearance, flexible suspension to handle America's most unpaved rural roads. Don't forget, there wasn't any concrete back then either. The Model T arrived before proper roads did, actually driving demand for better infrastructure nationwide. So kind of contributed to that.
Now that's a Model A.
Yeah. There's other pictures in there too. The source, many farmers use the Model T as a stationary power source. By jacking up the rear wheels and attaching a belt to the axle, the Model T could perform farm equipment like saws, pumps, and threshers, effectively serving as a mobile generator. The name, well, the T designated seems obvious now, but few know it represented the Ford's 20th design attempt. This previous model ran through much of the alphabet. Several of them failed prototypes before the Model T was a success. The earliest prototypes from 1903 were simply named with letters in sequence. So the T finally was at the end of the alphabet, basically. Other milestones, the production ended in 1927. Ford manufactured an astounding 15 million Model Ts. The record stood until 1972 when the Volkswagen Beetle finally surpassed it. No other single model dominated the market so completely for so long. So there you go. You're just going to drive it through America, and that's little tidbits and facts about that. And people didn't know all that, and now you do. So
that was interesting, actually. I didn't realize. I always thought that the Model T was a assembly line made from the very beginning, but no, 5 years later.
He was very innovative back in the beginning. So, thank you, Henry Ford and all the Ford family.
But
let's go recall something.
He wasn't a very nice person.
No, he wasn't. He was no, he was not.
He was an ass.
I think he was an anti-Semite. Is what he was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stories about that too.
Yeah.
And every one of those pictures you saw, those vehicles have been recalled.
Oh my God! I haven't even done recalls, but Mr. Mars,
yes,
it's time for your driving destinations and 5 swap meets, and it's time for you to go.
You want me to get it, Mike?
If you would, sir, I'll pull it up and get you started. There you go.
All right.
So, swap meets are something that we used to. I remember when I was much younger that was something that we always went to looking for parts. It was a big deal. It was almost like almost every car show had a swap meet, and it's not so much anymore. Now, if you're going to find something, generally it's tied into a flea market. But there are several swap
or you
meets.
go online and get it.
Yeah.
Or you go online and get it. Yeah, it takes all the fun out of walking through it. So, but one of them that's going on that is still a pretty big deal is the Southwest Swap Meet at Lone Star Park. Now, this is right between Dallas and Fort Worth. Happens twice a year. In fact, it's going on this weekend is the spring event, and there'll be one later on in the fall. Now, this has been around since 1968, and it's set up on a 300-acre horse racing facility. So, it's not a lot of open fields and stuff. You've got parking lots and grandstand. The track's all right there in the background, but there's like 5,000 spaces available for vendors, food trucks, and the auto corral. So if you want to go looking for something in a little bit more of a laid-back atmosphere that's not totally too big, put on your walking shoes and go check out this one. Now, getting a little bit closer to home down here in the Dallas part of the world, Hot Rods of Texas Swap Meet happens up in Conroe. Again, this one is twice a year, and this is the second largest swap meet in Texas. Now, the October event is set for October the 23rd and the 25th. Again, Montgomery County Fairgrounds out on Airport Road. We've been out there a couple of times with some other events. It is a real fairgrounds. It is a large place, and they use the whole thing. Hot rods, muscle cars, project builds. And the great thing about this one is if you're going to be a vendor there, if you're going to come in there and set up, you got to have at least 75% of your content or your stuff you're bringing in has got to be auto related. So you're not really going to turn this into some sort of flea market with a lot of handicrafts on it. And it usually draws a pretty big crowd.
Well,
because
Martha, isn't that a cute purse you brought over there?
Thank you.
got a car on it. So then we want to go to the big one. Now, this is the biggest in Texas, and it is considered one of the largest in the country. Now, this is the Pate Swap Meet. Happens April the 23rd through the 25th, so still got time to get there. Now, this was started in 1972 by several Texas car clubs who were going off to Pennsylvania, to Hershey, and places like that, and they got tired of making the drive. So they decided to set one up here, and it's been through several different places, and now is home at the Texas Motor Speedway. 14 clubs get together to put this together. They have 2,000 vendors. They have 9,900 spaces for people to set up and swap parts and swap stories. Then they have an auto corral. And there's some pictures. Part of these pictures are from the top seating of the track looking out over the field. It uses the whole track. And a lot of people, I mean, they now have golf carts. A lot of people use scooters. A lot of people to get around. Last time I was up there, it wasn't quite this big. It was pre-COVID. I was there 2 days and still didn't get to walk through all of it. Wow. So there's lots of stuff up there and lots of things. And if you buy something, if you can't carry it, they got people that will actually carry it to your car. Oh, so one thing about these swap meets, whether it's these big ones or the smaller ones that you can find, the biggest thing you got to remember is bring cash. Cash is king because out there in the middle of that parking lot, you're not going to necessarily have access to a credit card. And the other thing is, if you want to get something in particular, if you're really looking for a hard-to-part find, you ought to get there a little bit early and get started on it. Okay. Bring your walking shoes. Yeah. And a couple others. Yeah. You walk your feet off with that. A couple other things I want to mention quite real quick. Greenville Swap Meet. That's an old school option early in the spring that's up there. And the other one is the Corvette Chevy Expo down in Galveston. It's pretty close. That one also has a swap meet, but it's primarily GM focused, obviously heavy into the Corvettes. But swap meets are still out there, and you can find them. You just got to kind of look for them. They're not as plentiful as they used to be, but they're still a lot of fun.
All right, thank you, sir. Got to take a quick break here on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. We're back after these messages. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Gift giving should be meaningful, and we have an idea. A hand-painted custom illustration of your car from one of the nation's leading artists. You've seen his work at car shows and on display at the Hemi Hideout. Now you can have an illustration or car poster customized for you, a friend, or loved one. Bill Seitz is a real car guy that speaks the language and will be happy to guide you through the process. No matter what the day, birthday, anniversary, or any day, an Autographics custom illustration adds an extra touch of class to any home. Call Bill today, 832-922-0963. That's 832-922-0963. That's it for this podcast episode of the InWheelTime Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.